How do you attract, how do you train, and how do you retain talent? It's a great question Steve King, my coworker, has been asking me for months, and many of my friends that lead and own businesses. Like, how do you attract, how do you train, and how do you retain talent? It's a great question. What we've been talking to our staff about is, I think it's for us, for LearnGlass, some of the ingredients are, the top 3 ingredients are relationships. So we're going to attract talent by being intentional about our relationships with each other and our customers. We're a B2B to C business. We're going to be productive, right? So it's our custom shower glass and mirrors, which is why people write us a check, right? So we're going to be very productive, and then we're going to add value. And so as you take these 3 ingredients, like building relationships, how are you guys doing with each other? Do you give a shit about each other? How are you doing with your client as a B2B to C business? You know, B2B, how's your relationship with your customers? And then productivity, there's 2 parts to this. One is the task, which is why people write you a check, right? The best custom shower glass, the best customer experience. What are the initiatives to block and tackle better, right? To make sure that the widget is is it the best? Is your product offering the best? Are the systems and processes, is the training designed to help produce the best outcome for the customers? Productivity, why they write you a check, why it's important. This is the barrier to entry, right? As a business, as somebody's writing you a check, what you're doing with that check is you're paying your staff, which that attracts talent. They're not going to work for you for free. And if you improve your profit, then you can pay them more money and pay them more benefits, which we'll be talking about a ton. And then the third part, I think, is another value add. I won't say secret sauce, but I think it's a value add, is like, how are you holistically developing your staff? Like, LearnGlass has a high value. I'm not saying we're good at any of this stuff, but we're intentional and we're getting better at it. How are you growing your staff? How are you helping them with their career development? How are you helping them with their relational intelligence? How are you helping them with their financial acumen? Do they have an emergency fund? Do they have a retirement plan in place? How are you helping them with their physical? Like, are they interested, like me and Boozy, like we're in a weight loss and trying to get in better shape? Like, you know, how can a LearnGlass help them in their physical fitness pursuit? And then mental health, right? With anxiety and depression and different shit going on in people's lives. Like, how do you as a company get alongside them? It's added value. It's not one thing by itself, but it's added value. Again, what most businesses do is, like, the barrier to entry is you got to pay, like, to attract talent, you got to be able to pay them, right? You got to be able to give benefits, or we do, right? So that's barrier to entry. Relationships adds value, makes your business much more attractive to join. And then down here, this added value of, like, my son Dakota did a vision night with some of the guys, where I think there were 5 guys that stayed and were part of some training for vision for their future. And it's, it basically checked 4 boxes for their personal and professional development. So anyway, as we spend 2024, like, how do we attract, how do we train, how do we retain? Again, Steve King talked about, like, professionalizing the industry. How do we at LearnGlass, how do we become a more professional organization? Because that'll attract more talent. How do we do that? And how do we take raw material? Landon, high school student that's co-oping this semester from Dayton, Kentucky, he's a senior. How do we take that great kid, great young guy, right? How do we take this young, talented young man, Landon, and how do we develop that raw talent into an exceptional employee? So we're going to talk about this the whole year, and we got to get good at it. Like, we and my friends that lead and own businesses, we all have to get much better at. Imagine 5 years from now if we're known as companies that attract, train, and retain great talent. What's going to happen? What's likely to be true about our businesses in 5 years?